This show is part of OnePlace, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to today's Roundup. We are diving into a massive day of sports news, from legal troubles for a golf legend to one of the most iconic shots in college basketball history.
Tiger Woods faces multiple charges after a Florida rollover crash.
UConn stuns Duke with a miraculous 35-foot buzzer-beater shot.
Golden Knights fire Bruce Cassidy and hire John Tortorella.
The 2026 World Cup features thrilling non-USA group matches.
UConn's historic comeback highlights the Elite Eight's biggest takeaways.
Coach Dan Hurley praises his team's grit after victory.
Analyzing the best and worst moments from March Madness.
MLB opening weekend introduces the new ABS Challenge system.
The Final Four field is set for Indianapolis showdowns.
Warriors reportedly eye Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James moves.
Starting with Tiger Woods. Golf legend Tiger Woods was arrested Friday following a single-car rollover crash near his home in Jupiter, Florida. The Martin County Sheriff's Office confirmed that Woods was driving his black Land Rover at high speeds when he clipped a pressure cleaner trailer, causing the vehicle to roll onto the driver's side door. While Woods passed a breathalyzer test, officers noted he showed clear signs of impairment, leading to a DUI charge. He was also charged with property damage and a misdemeanor for refusing a urine analysis test once he arrived at the jail facility.
The details from the sheriff's office paint a chaotic scene, with the vehicle ending up on its side. Woods was booked into the Martin County Jail, but was not placed in the general population before being released late Friday night. This incident adds another complicated chapter to his public life, especially given the high speeds reported by investigators. His mugshot has already circulated widely, and the sports world is waiting to see how these 3 misdemeanor charges will play out in court. For now, the focus remains on the specific substances that may have caused the impairment. Next, the Elite Eight.
The UConn Huskies pulled off a miracle against Duke in an Elite Eight classic that will be remembered for decades. Duke seemed to have the game firmly in hand, leading by 19 points in the first half, and holding a 2-point lead with the ball and only 10 seconds remaining. However, a late turnover by Duke's Caden Boozer gave UConn one final chance. Freshman Braylon Mullins grabbed the ball and launched a desperate 35-foot shot from well beyond the logo. The ball swished through with just 0.3 seconds left, securing a 7-3-7-2 victory and a Final Four berth.
This was a total meltdown for the Blue Devils, who have now faced back-to-back disappointing tournament exits, despite having top-tier NBA talent like Cooper Flagg. For UConn, this win marks their 3rd Final Four appearance in the last 4 years, cementing their status as a modern dynasty under Dan Hurley. Mullins, who had struggled with his shot for most of the game, became an instant legend with that deep three-pointer. The contrast in emotions was stark, as Duke's players were left in disbelief while the Huskies celebrated a comeback that felt nearly impossible just minutes earlier.
On to the NHL news. In a shocking move, the Vegas Golden Knights fired head coach Bruce Cassidy on Sunday. Cassidy was the man who led the franchise to its first-ever Stanley Cup victory in 2002, but general manager Kelly McCrimmon decided a change was necessary to regain consistency. The team has struggled to maintain their championship form during the 2025-26 season, leading the front office to seek a new voice for the final stretch of the regular season. Cassidy leaves Vegas with a historic legacy, but the organization is clearly prioritizing immediate results as they head toward the playoffs.
To replace Cassidy, the Golden Knights have hired veteran coach John Tortorella. Known for his intense style and disciplined approach, Tortorella brings over 23 seasons of NHL experience and a Stanley Cup ring from his time with Tampa Bay. McCrimmon emphasized that Tortorella's resume and leadership are exactly what the team needs at this pivotal moment. With 770 career wins, Tortorella ranks 6th all-time in games coached. It will be fascinating to see how the Vegas locker room responds to his demanding coaching style as they try to secure another deep postseason run this spring. Now, the World Cup.
The 2026 World Cup is shaping up to be a massive event with 48 teams, and while the U.S. has a favorable draw, several non-USA matches are generating huge excitement. The tournament kicks off in Mexico City, with Mexico facing South Africa at the historic Estadio Azteca. This opening match will put immense pressure on El Tri as a co-host. Another standout fixture is Brazil versus Morocco in New Jersey. Morocco made history in Qatar as the first African nation to reach a semifinal. And facing a powerhouse like Brazil so early in the group stage is a dream matchup for fans.
We also have a fascinating David versus Goliath story, with Germany taking on Curaçao. Germany is looking to redeem itself after a disastrous early exit in 2022, while Curaçao is the smallest nation to ever qualify for the tournament. Then there is France against Senegal. A match filled with narrative, given the deep connections between the two nations. With the expanded field, the traditional group of death might be gone, but these specific matchups ensure that the group stage will be filled with high-stakes drama and international stars. The energy in North American stadiums is expected to be unprecedented.
Back to college hoops. The UConn victory over Duke wasn't just a win, it was a statement about the program's resilience. Trailing by 19 points, the Huskies looked defeated, but they slowly chipped away at the lead. The final sequence was pure theater. After Alex Carabon received a pass with the clock winding down, he deferred to the freshman Mullins. Mullins had missed almost every shot he took for the first 39 minutes, yet he didn't hesitate when the game was on the line. His high-arcing shot swished through with 0.4 seconds left, sending the UConn bench into a complete riot of celebration.
This win keeps UConn's pursuit of history alive as they aim for a third title in 4 years. After winning back-to-back championships in 2002-03 and 2002-04, the team faced a lot of skepticism during a rocky regular season. Coach Dan Hurley's intense sideline energy and the team's gritty culture were on full display during this comeback. They have now moved into a tie with North Carolina for the third most titles in history. This specific Elite Eight victory will likely be remembered as the defining moment of their season, proving that they can never be counted out, regardless of the score. More on Dan Hurley.
Following the win, Dan Hurley was vocal about what it takes to build a team capable of such a comeback. He credited the program's intense culture, noting that they purposely stressed the players in practice to prepare them for high-pressure moments. Hurley described his players as tough men who are built to handle being punched in the mouth, which is exactly what happened when Duke took a 15-point lead into halftime. The Huskies' ability to stay composed while shooting poorly from three-point range for most of the game is a testament to the mental toughness Hurley has instilled.
Players like Silas DeMary Jr. embodied this toughness, playing through a high ankle sprain to hit critical shots late in the game. Terrace Reed Jr. also played a massive role, scoring key layups and facilitating the offense when the starters were struggling. Braylon Mullins admitted after the game that he was still at a loss for words, processing the fact that he hit the biggest shot of his life. Hurley's coaching philosophy emphasizes doing everything at game speed and with maximum effort, and that preparation clearly paid off when they needed to execute a perfect final possession to win.
Reviewing the tournament action, the Elite Eight provided a stark contrast between the best and worst of the tournament. The UConn-Duke game is being hailed as an all-timer, likely the best game of the entire bracket so far. For 34 minutes, it looked like another blowout by a favorite, but the final 6 minutes changed everything. Terrace Reed's performance in the post against Cameron Boozer was a major factor in keeping UConn close. On the other side, Duke's collapse is being viewed as a mind-boggling failure for a #1 seed, especially after they had the game nearly sealed with a late lead.
The turnover by Caden Boozer in the final seconds will be scrutinized for a long time. It was an ill-advised pass that allowed Mullins to become a March Madness immortal. For Duke, this is a second straight season of heartbreak, despite having a roster full of future NBA stars. The margin between victory and a historic collapse was razor-thin, and unfortunately for the Blue Devils, they ended up on the wrong side of it. Mullins' shot is already being compared to the greatest buzzer-beaters in history, and its impact on the legacy of both programs cannot be overstated as we head to Indy. Switching to baseball.
MLB opening weekend brought the debut of the automatic balls and strikes challenge system, and it's already making a huge impact. Veteran umpire C.B. Bucknor had a particularly rough day, with 6 of his 8 challenged calls being overturned in a single game. The system allows teams to challenge ball and strike calls, and fans in Cincinnati were ecstatic when a strike 3 call was overturned to keep an inning alive. So far, data shows that catchers are having more success with challenges than hitters, with an overall overturn rate of 54% across the league's first few games.
While the technology is improving accuracy, it's also introducing new strategies. Teams only get 2 challenges per game, so managers have to decide if a mid-inning call is worth a wasted bullet. Beyond the robot umps, the Dodgers showed they are still the team to beat, completing a sweep of the Diamondbacks. Will Smith celebrated his birthday with a go-ahead home run, and the star-studded roster looks as dominant as ever. Other young stars made their marks during the opening slate, but the conversation is dominated by how much the game is changing with these new technological interventions.
The Final Four field. The Final Four is officially set with UConn joining Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan in Indianapolis. Interestingly, Illinois is playing the role of the little guy, or Cinderella, despite being a powerhouse Big Ten program with a massive enrollment. They will face the hard-charging UConn team in the first semifinal. Arizona and Michigan represent a heavyweight matchup of number 1 seeds, featuring up to 9 potential NBA prospects between them. Arizona has opened as the slight favorite to win the entire championship, but they are actually underdogs in their specific semifinal matchup against the Wolverines on Saturday night.
UConn enters the Final Four as the biggest long shot according to the odds, which is surprising given their recent championship pedigree. Coach Dan Hurley remains confident, stating that the UConn heart is built for this time of year. This year's field is a departure from recent tournaments that featured mid-major surprises like Florida Atlantic. Instead, we have a battle of traditional powers and high-seeded teams. The influence of NIL and the transfer portal has clearly helped these major programs maintain their dominance. It's going to be a weekend of elite basketball with everything on the line in Indianapolis. Finally, NBA rumors.
The Golden State Warriors are reportedly looking to make a massive splash this offseason by targeting Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, the Warriors already tried to trade for Leonard before the February deadline, and are expected to revisit those talks. Leonard has been productive for the Clippers, but the team has struggled to advance in the playoffs. Meanwhile, LeBron James will be a free agent, and his fit alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green is a tantalizing prospect for a Warriors team that has struggled to find consistency since their 2022 championship run.
The Warriors have moved away from their 2-timeline approach of developing young players, instead focusing on surrounding Curry with established veterans. Injuries have plagued them this season, with Curry playing his fewest games in years, and other key players like Jimmy Butler out with long-term injuries. Acquiring Leonard or James would provide the veteran wing depth and championship experience the team desperately needs. While LeBron has also been linked to a potential return to Cleveland, the idea of him pairing up with Curry for a final title run is the biggest story heading into the NBA offseason.
That's all for today's briefing. Join us again tomorrow for more focused updates on the stories that matter most. Have a great day.